What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Nike Dunks to look at. The Nike SB Dunk Low. This is the NYC Pigeons colorway. Before we get into the review, do me a favor, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also hit that share button. Now, these videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you do happen to have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to drop those down below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. So this sneaker does come inside this. It's an all pink base box, and it does have the black Nike SB branding up top on the lid here. Now, pretty much throughout the entire box, you know, it's more of that pink, and they do have, you know, some more hits of that black Nike SB branding. The bottom portion of the box really doesn't have too much. It just has, like, you know, the black Nike branding and copyright information there. So for those that do care about that, there you go. Now, the box label on the sneaker does read Nike Dunk Low Pro SB, medium gray, white, and then dark gray. So when you do actually open the box, now first and foremost, what I do want to make clear is, because I've actually seen a few sneaker reviewers actually review this sneaker already, there seems to be a huge misconception about what this sneaker actually is here. So first and foremost, let's talk about the backstory of the actual sneaker, because the sneaker was actually released back in 2005. And from my understanding, they actually only released about 150 pairs of this sneaker. So this is actually one of the rarest Nike SB Dunks that you could find. The sneaker was actually designed by a guy named Jeff Staples. He was actually approached by the Nike brand to actually design and develop, like, you know, a sneaker that was actually supposed to represent the city of New York. And he actually chose, like, you know, the actual bird, the pigeon, to be his inspiration behind, you know, this sneaker here. So for the most part, now, again, this is not the same sneaker from 2005 across the water. What they basically did was just take that actual sneaker and they actually just chose to kind of, you know, retro the sneaker itself. So basically, like, what they did was they just took, like, you know, some materials and made the sneaker, in my opinion, so much better than the original. But of course, like, you know, everybody has their own opinion, but I'm gonna run with this one if you're comparing it to this one versus the actual 2005 release. But nevertheless, man, I'm not gonna talk you guys' head off. There you go, Nike SB Dunk Low NYC Pigeon. And when I tell you guys, we're gonna start with the right sneaker. When I tell you guys that this is actually a solid release, one thing that I love about the sneaker is the materials that they actually use. So it is pretty much comprised of, like, you know, some hits of leather. And they gave us this real nice buttery suede material going throughout the entire sneaker. The star of the show is back there going towards the heel. They do have that stitched in pigeon there, and it is, like, you know, embroidered and stitched. And it's, like, very detailed. Like, you can actually tell, like, you know, it's a pigeon, it's a bird. Like, it doesn't look wonky in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, they did a, you know, great job of, like, you know, the stitching going across, like, you know, this back panel here. And they do have, like, you know, more of that medium gray suede surrounding, you know, the bird as well. More of that suede material going across the top panel here, swinging down past, like, you know, the lace holes. And they got it going all the way, you know, towards, like, you know, the toe box area of the sneaker, the front toe box area. This mid panel here, pretty smooth, solid leather material, nice thick cut leather. They did actually give us this white Nike swoosh dyed leather here, and it is actually stitched in white. The midsole of the sneaker pretty consistent with most Nike SB Dunks, and it is actually in that medium gray and that orange going towards the bottom portion there. So for the most part, on the lateral side of the sneaker, that's pretty much it. There you go. Swinging things over to the front toe box area. Let's start with the toe box. Nice light gray leather here, and it is like a perforated toe box, just like most Nike SB Dunks. They did actually go ahead and give us this suede mud guard here. Nice suede, man. Nice transitional. Like, you can tell, like, this is some high quality suede. It's the materials for me on this sneaker. And they actually do have this the mud guard stitched here, like, you know, in this light gray stitching here. The sneaker does come with these flat white oval laces. In my opinion, I love these white laces. I feel like they just make the sneaker pop so much more. But they did actually give us a secondary lace option. It is like, you know, this dark gray, these dark gray laces here. And in my opinion, it doesn't really match the light gray or the medium gray suede material. So in my opinion, I feel like I'm around with the white laces, but of course, like, you know, to each his own. Somebody may want to throw the dark gray laces there to, you know, do something a little different, but for me, I'm gonna stick with the white laces. Behind the flat white laces that do come, like, you know, pre-lace, they actually did give us, like, you know, this nylon mesh material for the tongue. The tongue of the sneaker is, like, you know, thick padded, just like most Nike SB Dunks. Now, one thing that is a little bit different on this sneaker versus the 2005 release, the tongue of the sneaker, the tongue, they actually have this tag here. On the original, it actually just had, like, you know, Nike SB branding, that's it. On this tag, first and foremost, is all white, and they did actually give us the black SB branding there in black, and then it has the Dunk Low Pro. I thought that was, like, you know, a pretty neat touch. Now, in my opinion, again, I felt like everything about this sneaker is solid. I'm going with this one versus the 2005 release. Surrounding the tongue, they do have, like, you know, this dark, medium gray, if you will, mesh material here. The inside of the sneaker is all orange going across, like, you know, I don't know if you want to call it the sock liner or ankle collar on the low tops, but nevertheless, it's all orange on the inside of the sneaker and on the back of the tongue. On the medial side of the sneaker, pretty much consistent with the lateral side. Everything is consistent. You have more of this real nice, man, when I tell y'all there's some nice suede material, like, I can't emphasize that enough. You have that medium gray suede material. They have the white Nike swoosh here stitched in white, and then across the mid portion of the sneaker they do have that light gray leather, and then of course you do have some more of that light gray leather going across, like, you know, the sock liner of the sneaker. Pretty consistent with the other side. Other than that, you do have that medium gray and orange midsole on the other side. Now, going towards the back portion of the sneaker, pretty consistent with most Nike Dunks. You do have this white stitched leather tab here, and it does have the Nike stitching, the Nike brand stitched there in black. You do have more of that light gray leather, and they do have some light gray stitching here, and then you do have more of that medium gray suede. Going toward the bottom portion of the sneaker, now this is consistent with most Nike Dunks. The bottom of the sneaker just looks just like any other Nike SB Dunk Low, all orange. You have the circular traction up top, more of the Dunk traction going towards the bottom, and then like the mid portion of the sole, you do have that Nike branding there. For the most part, pretty solid sneaker. The left sneaker itself is pretty consistent with the right. Everything is the same. Of course, you do have that stitched in pigeon over on the lateral side of this sneaker as well. But if I were to rate this sneaker, man, it's the materials. Like I said, the materials they used on this one, man. It's a solid sneaker. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 10 out of 10. As far as like comfort, the sneaker does fit just like any other Nike SB Dunk Low. Now for me, that's true to size, so I would recommend just staying true to size. I don't really recommend going up like a half size or anything like that. But yeah, man, 10 out of 10, comfort and size, and just like any other Nike SB Dunk Low. But I do want to thank the vendor who actually gifted me this sneaker. I want to thank them, and of course for being patient for a while, for me, because it took, you know, some time for me to get this review done for you guys. I had so much going on lately. But I definitely want to thank them, you know, for gifting this so I can review this on the channel for you guys. I definitely want to encourage you guys to always, you know, stay engaged with me like always. I can be reached on all social media network platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, even here on YouTube. Everything is at the King of Soul. But before we go, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a B-roll and a 360 like I always do. But there you go. Nike SB Dunk Low, NYC Pigeon. So there's the front of the sneaker. There's the lateral side of the right. Lateral side of the left. There's your bottom portion of the sneaker. Again, pretty consistent with most Nike SB Dunk Lows. It's just all orange. There's the medial side of the sneaker. And then there's your rear. But I do want to thank you guys, like always, for taking the time to tune in, like always. But until next time, see you later.